Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. I'm back after a week hiatus. Todd, thank you for stepping in.
Well, don't thank me yet. You haven't watched it yet. You may have different thoughts after you've seen it.
I do need to
Oh,
watch
we
it.
did a good job. You did a good job, Todd.
Thank you, Mark.
Cool. And we're also joined by Bobby. Bobby Legs, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys. Happy Sunday to you all.
Yeah. And a long weekend here in the US as well. Got tomorrow off. Okay, well let's do a wristwatch check. Mark, you are in the hot seat. What watch are you wearing?
So I am wearing an Omega Seamaster in blue from the previous generation.
Excellent.
Nice and slim. Yeah, see if we can get it. Nice and slim. Has the all important date for Sam.
Yay.
And definitely classier than the current generation of Seamaster, but
yeah,
I like it. One of my faves.
You're such an Omega fan. You should grow your hair like Daniel Craig's got now.
Oh, I mean, I'm old, but he looks old.
It does. It looks like. Do you think he's grown it for a part or something? Because it does look a bit odd, doesn't it?
He should invest in some hair dye.
Daniel Craig, I apologize. If you want to join
Mark
us on the show.
At On Liberty 1859. Daniel Craig.
We'll start some beef between you and Daniel Craig.
Well,
Bobby,
if you get someone to my Instagram, come on, I can't
complain. We'll go to Bobby. Bobby, what are you wearing?
I am wearing the Gerard Perregaux Seahawk 2, my first luxury watch purchase almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
And obviously the longest watch that I've had, and it still looks great. It still looks amazing.
Yeah, looking good.
Love the brand.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Todd, what are you wearing?
I am wearing my Tudor Silver Surfer. It has become the mainstay in my stable. It actually has become, even as of this year, maybe my exit watch. Like, I'm only interested in collecting fun, inexpensive pieces now. I love this watch.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I'm wearing, I'll do solo layout, the Unimatic. This is the Unimatic Quartz tool watch. I really like this watch. I've been wearing it quite a bit. It's funny because this is one watch that isn't a strap monster. Like it doesn't wear at all well on a NATO, but their stock strap, which is like a nylon, it wears well on. I've worn it on a Tropic strap and stuff like that, but a NATO, for some reason, it just makes it sit a bit high and it hits like the bony bit on my wrist. But anyway.
Is it maybe just like, it looks like it's straight lugs? Is that maybe what
it is? The lugs are completely straight down the side. Yeah. It's really cool. The date's very hard to see on it, but I did a review on the channel. So
at least it has the date, right? So
at least it has the date, exactly. First off, big thanks, Memovox. Thank you so much for the very kind super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Nice start to the show. Very much appreciated. We'll just say hello to Kevin. Hello, Junior. Nice to meet you. Nice for you to join us. Bill, thanks for joining us. Got Brassic Time. Watch Addicts in the house. Nate Dog. Andy C. Thomas. Watch Addict and Jeremy Rice joined. Martin Haggis. Hello, gentlemen. Greeting everywhere. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone that joined. If I missed anyone, I'll try and get you through. What we're going to talk about this week is the new releases, some from Geneva Watch Days, although we're also going to talk about some other ones as well, like the Christopher Ward, for example. And we're going to go through them, but let us know if we've missed any. Also, let us know your opinion in the chat as well, what you think of these watches. So let's get cracking. So the first one that I picked was the Konstantin Chaykin. The new is this now the new record for the thinnest watch? Do we think?
I think it is. Unfortunately, for me, it's just right there with the Richard Mille one. Like, it doesn't have the beauty of the old. Oh gosh, why can't I think? Bulgari. Like, those are just not the same. This is just sort of like being thin to be thin, and it's not good looking.
I presume there's glass over there. There is sapphire over these, isn't it? It looks like it's not I mean, it would have sapphire over the little dials, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's a good feat of engineering, isn't it? But I don't know who it's necessarily aimed at. I mean, anybody else?
Yeah, I think it's just a flex, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's a kind of watch that you're probably. I mean, I probably would be afraid to wear
Yeah.
due to its fragility, right? I don't know. I like Konstantin Chaykin. I like some of his fun pieces that he does, and this is probably going
Totally.
to a person who is a big fan of Chaykin. That's the only person who I see, wearing this kind of piece, right? I like thin watches. I don't like this thin. Piaget, Bulgari, great. They've done it, and they have some great uh, models that are, thin enough, right? That it's not going to be too much of a worry, I would imagine. Even though probably it would be worried wearing like an Altiplano, right? One of those Piaget Altiplanos, but they're beautiful watches. Here, I think it's just for the sake of being thin. It's probably just a show-off piece, a flex. Not too many people are going to wear this or want to wear this or spend the money for it.
Yeah. I
Totally.
like the fact that it's got the opals in the back. It's pretty cool.
Like I tried on Bulgari in Vegas, and I thought it was awesome watch to wear. Like
Yeah.
I was like, this I could totally do. It's scary still because it is
Yeah.
scary thin, but this is just. I want to see the face of it. Like I want to see the workings or something. If it's just like the back is more interesting than the front.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you wouldn't want to sweat or have hairy arms with all those rubies and gaps in the back. Sort of, oh, I sweated a tiny bit and it didn't work, or my arm hair got in the mechanism and gummed it up forever. It's just like,
yeah. I mean, and
a feat of engineering, but a practical proposition.
Yeah, to your point, the cost of ownership would probably be high on this one. But if you are buying this piece, you probably don't have to worry about that anyway.
Well, true.
There's a point of no return when you go with thinness, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like 8 millimeters thin, that's probably the thinnest I'd ever want to go, 8 or 9 millimeters, right? Anything lower than that, it's not appealing. It's just, it's a feature of engineering. Great job. But I'll be moving on.
Yeah.
I think our
Watch
definition
Addict puts it all together there.
Our definition of thin really starts at anything less than 10 millimeters these days, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This and the RM are great for celebs sitting courtside at NBA. There was somebody did wear that the Richard Mill, didn't they? The Richard Mill. Was it a race driver or somebody? I think there was a photograph of somebody actually wearing it. So, but that was like yeah, you're right. Give this one knock and you're kind of done for, aren't you? But anyway. Okay, so we'll say that's. I mean, I suppose it's a hit for the actual sheer mechanism of it, but I don't know, a miss for a watch that I guess we would wear or get hold of. Did it say how much it is? I bet it's expensive.
Not for me.
Not for sale.
Right.
Well, I guess I'm not allowed to buy one anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, not for sale. Awesome.
Also,
okay.
my wife said I'm not allowed to buy one, so we're going.
And for once, your wife is right.
yeah, exactly. That's. Next one, Todd. This is your absolute. This was your favorite from this week, wasn't it?
As soon as that came across my Instagram, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, there's something. I know Mark hates Tudor, so just indulge me, Mark.
I hate Tudor's hour hand. I like the rest of the watch, but it needs a different hour hand.
Like
it ruins a great watch.
When the pink one came out, it was like, that's a fun watch. This is like perfection. This could be a one and done because the blue is not in your face. You can wear this with anything. I just think they've just nailed it with this watch. It's just about perfect. Yeah, I wish I had the money in my bank account right now for one of those because that would be the first thing I'd run to right there.
Yeah, is that a ceramic bezel?
No, I think it's aluminium.
Why do they cheapskate at that price? Put a ceramic bezel on, do it properly.
Todd, I agree. I think they really nailed it with this one, especially on the heels of the pink Chrono, which whatever. It is what it is, right? But this one, it's the right shade of blue that's going to work with a whole lot of, your wardrobe, right? You don't have to worry about like, wearing something, to match your watch here, even though I don't, but I mean, and I'm sure you don't so much, but some people do. And I don't mind the hour hand. On the Chrono, in the white dial, it gets lost, right? It's hard to pick up, but here there's enough contrast here that it works for me. And no, well done, Tudor. I really like this piece.
I mean, it is the nicest looking Tudor for a long time, but I think it's only in that colorway that it really works.
It is amazing.
I totally agree with this. There is something about that shade of blue that they've used is really nice.
And you the hour hand, I get that it's like a love or hate thing, and I used to hate it, but there was a point where I was like, what's cool about it is Rolex has the Mercedes hand, and then everybody in the world copied that Mercedes hand. And Tudor was like, this is our stamp on what we do, and this is our brand. This is what we look like, and they've stuck to it. And I've gotten to where I love it. I'm like, what I like? It's the mark of a Tudor. Love or hate it, it's like you're wearing a Tudor or a Pagani design.
Yeah, and look, and to Mark, when Mark brought up the point that it's not a ceramic bezel, I'm not sure if it's ceramic or aluminum. I don't mind so much the aluminum. I mean, I guess because of the price point, you're expecting ceramic, but I kind of like the vintagey, worn feel of the aluminum bezel over the ceramic. Now, I have watches that have ceramic bezels, and that's great. They look great, but sometimes it's okay to have aluminum. In my opinion.
But
it might be stainless steel.
It's such a modern design.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame that they don't go all in and do every piece of technology they can.
Yeah, I mean, I like the I like the Tudor hands. I like the fact that the minute hand goes all the way to the outer minute track. That's like I always give big appreciation for that on any watches, because so many watches do fall a little bit short. I don't mind the snowflake. It is distinctive. Let's see what the audience is saying. Watch Addict says, is that a pressed clasp on the Tudor Chrono? I don't think so. Maybe there was just
look like it.
Yeah.
No, maybe there's just a
bad.
milled. It is, yeah, it would be a mill. Because I mean, Tudor are on par with Rolex, aren't they, with some of their bracelets? I mean, I'm sure they probably get them the same. Yeah, this is milled. It's a milled clasp.
Their bracelets are fantastic.
Yeah, they really are. That Jubilee is probably the closest, and then the Jack Mason, their Jubilee as well is really, really close to a Rolex. And Brassic Time says it's telling that there is no side shot of the Tudor 14.5 slab-sided case is too much. We were chatting about this, Todd, weren't we, before?
We do, yeah. And people say that. So I have the Tudor Black Bay Heritage, and it's the same size. And you think that, but the way it's done, it doesn't feel 14.5. And it also, once you get the bracelet fitted right, it's an extremely comfortable watch. And the case back bubbles out, but it goes into the flat of your wrist, and the side profile on your wrist, it doesn't look as thick as you might think it does.
And look, it's a chronograph. I mean, 14.5 millimeters. I mean, come on, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, true.
And what's the water resistance?
I think it's the same as their dive watches. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It doesn't say on the dial, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Which is actually quite restrained of Tudor. Normally, there's about 4,000 lines on a dial.
Yeah,
a book of text.
Yeah, and does it say? I'm going to give people.
I mean, the specs.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll just assume. We'll come back to that. Okay. So next comment is watches with Dennis. It turns out, well, I agree with Mark for the Chrono. Only the snowflake should go. Obfuscates the subdials.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's just see if we've got any more about this specific watch. The hour hand just ugly. Tudor has copyrighted its hour hand. Yeah, anyway.
It's okay.
I love the hour hand.
I
like it. Yeah,
like I said, everybody can have an opinion, and it's okay to be wrong. It's okay.
And I too hated it. I too hated it until the day I didn't hate it, and then I loved it.
Yeah. Totally. I prefer it over the Mercedes hand. I actually, if anything looks out of proportion, it's the hands on a Submariner. I would say that Mercedes hand I don't think suits the Submariner.
And
Not
according
actually
to
see like a
watches
mil
with
sub.
Watches with Dennis, it's 200-meter water resistance.
Yeah.
So good for them for actually doing that right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Okay. Thank you
One and
everyone
done
for
watch.
your comments on that one. Let me where am I gonna Junior, I just need to hide that one. Okay, so next watch up. Let's get everyone back situated. This Favre Leuba. This was a new one, Geneva Watch Days, I believe. Did anybody else pick this one up? I quite like the blue version.
I saw it.
I think that I don't like these hour hands, to be honest. I don't like this arrow, this such pronounced arrow, because it's the same as the Longines Legend Diver, isn't it?
Or the Omega Planet Ocean.
Yeah. Yo, Omega does that one too.
But I feel like the Planet Ocean does it better for some reason. This seems to be a trope of what vintage people who want to make a vintage dive watch make this really pronounced. Walbrook do it as well.
I agree with you, but I think there's an argument to be made that as a dive watch, the minute hand is the most important, and so it should be prominent. But I don't like it aesthetically. But it's a tool.
Okay. And despite me wearing a Seamaster today, skeleton hands do not make for prominent minute hands. Under any circumstances, at least where Omega Seamasters are concerned.
Yeah.
I don't. Favre Leuba they used to do some really quite over the top watches, didn't they? They were known for their dive watches, weren't they, back in the day? And then I remember they released like a really crazy watch, but then they've kind of flown under the radar. For me, they haven't flown under the radar.
This is the third iteration of Favre Leuba, anyway.
Okay.
So they were originally founded, I think, 10 years after Breguet founded his company. Then they went through to the 70s. The brand went dormant. Somebody bought them and restarted them in 2010, 2012, that sort of time frame. Pumped $40 million into the brand, didn't get anywhere. And then it's now in its third ownership.
Really?
So it's probably got nothing to do with the original Favre Leuba except the name. And we will see if they can make a go of it third time lucky.
Yeah. Well, before we carry on, James Blonde, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much for that.
That funky 70s chrono at the front end of this line is really eye-catching. I dig it. If you scroll back the other way, Sam.
Yeah, it looks like they've been taking some cases off Braemont.
That is a cool looking watch.
Or H. Moser and C. They want the Streamliner design back.
Yeah. Bobby, have you ever seen one of these in person?
I don't. I have not familiar with the new release or the brand, I have to admit. So I'm going to sit this one out. It is an interesting looking piece, but I just really don't know much about them.
Yeah, there was didn't they had like a really pronounced, didn't they have a diver that had really pronounced hands? There was something back in the day that they had like a really interesting looking dive watch. What was it called now? Let's see if I can see it on Chrono. They had a very distinctive dive watch that they were known for, and I think the hand might have just been like a short arrow or something. I'm probably not going to find it now. Yes, this one.
Ooh.
You talk about that was the hour hand.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what they were known for.
That's disturbing.
Hey, you wanted to pronounce our hand. You were talking a good game about dive watches needed a subtle hour hand.
Might need to see his medical professional. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Hey, it's cold outside.
Yeah,
cold when you're diving. There's a YouTuber I'm sure that has one of these, or somebody that I met.
It's probably Watch Chris. I mean, like he has got some really interesting.
Yeah, it might be. He does have some really interesting watches.
Boreasic Times throwing at us now. Still better looking than the Tudor.
Oh dear.
Well, at least you can't see the hour hand to be offended by it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on then. So Favre Leuba, right? So Mark, this was your pick, the Armin Strom.
Yep, Armin Strom, incredibly ridiculously long name, dual time GMT Resonance First Edition. Armin Strom have been making watches based on the resonance principle since 2016, I think, and this is their latest iteration. So it is a literal dual time. So the watch snobs can't say it's a Traveler GMT and therefore better, because it's two separate watches in one case. So there are two linked mechanisms, and they're linked by a very, very clever spring to keep the two mechanisms in resonance and allegedly aid precision. But it has everything that a modern Armin Strom should have. It has some of the mechanism on the front, some of the mechanism on the back. It will be exquisitely well finished for a twin dial watch. It's 39 millimeter in diameter and less than 10 mil thick. You have two crowns. One crown winds everything and sets the time on one watch, and the other crown sets the time on the other. Armin Strom's designs are resolutely futuristic, if you like, and some people, particularly the vintage fans, will no doubt hate everything they make, but I'm a fan of the brand, and this is just another great example of what they can do. This is a limited edition of 25 pieces in white gold, but if you're going to flex, I think this is a good way to flex. I doubt I could ever read the time on it because those two subdials are tiny, but okay, I can't afford it either, so it's not my problem, and I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know how it makes me feel. I would try and zoom in, guys, but there's for some reason it won't let me click out to a bigger picture. But yeah, essentially you've got dual time. So does it share any components like a winding barrel or anything, or is it?
It must do, because only one crown winds both, and it is a twin barrel movement.
Okay.
40 odd hours of power reserve, but it is a manual wind.
A website. I mean, I suppose if they don't really have to showcase it that much because there's only a select number of people that would buy it. But yeah, interesting. I don't know. Anybody else have a feeling?
I mean, Armin Strom are quite a Marmite brand, I think, because they are so resolutely modern and so committed to showing the mechanical pieces on the front of the watch and the back. That's their design signature. And a lot of people don't necessarily like that approach, but I do. I'm a fan. I mean, I'm probably never going to buy one, but that's a good one.
Well, it brings up one of those things that has been a topic, right, that we've talked about, Mark, where if I can't afford it, do I even enjoy it? And it's like, I enjoy it, even though I can't afford it. This is one of those things like looking at a $500,000 car. Like, I'll never buy that, but man, if it's really cool, I like looking at it. And I am a huge fan of this brand. It's just, I don't live in that world. Like, I don't, I don't go to polo matches on the weekend, and I don't have a yacht. So this is not a watch I'll ever buy, but I love looking at them.
This is this is the reason why I pay to go to Watch Time.
Yeah,
because you get to see Armin Strom and put them on your wrist. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. Sorry.
And if you want that wow moment, that watches on wrist moment that Nicholas from Fears talks about, Armin Strom are a great example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Armin Strom, I mentioned it to the guys before we started the stream. I had paid really no mind to Armin Strom, just like it just didn't really catch my fancy. And then until I saw them at Watch Time a couple of years ago, and to Todd's point, I mean, like, you can enjoy the watch. I mean, I definitely enjoyed seeing it because it totally just changed my perception of the brand. And I had a totally different appreciation of it, right? Seeing it in person, and I was able to enjoy it. Now, I probably wouldn't buy one, even if I could afford one, just because, it's nice. I don't know how long it would last in my collection. Nothing really lasts in my collection anyway, so I don't even know why I preface by saying anything like that. But it's just it's like going to an art museum and appreciating fine art, right? I can't take it home with me, but I'll pay the money for the ticket to go see it, and yeah, I can appreciate it.
Yeah,
100%. That's the perfect corollary, is going to the art museum. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what the chat has to say. So Cadaver Film says the oldest on paper. I think he was calling about Favre Leuba. James Blonde says no one wants to talk about Blancpain.
That's in relation to being the oldest watch brand, I think.
Okay.
But they also had it released this week. So.
Oh, did they? Let's have a look at that actually.
Yes, after 4 tequilas, it does seem like a good decision.
And then we've got let's see what the ones are started. Yeah, let's so they had you
can find it in a monochrome. They had a limited edition piece that was like a calendar. It was like a $300,000 piece.
Is it made out of bioceramic?
No, it was gold. It was gold.
Oh, okay.
Let's find it then.
Yeah.
So they actually went all out for Geneva watch days, did they?
Yeah, they had a couple other ones, a couple other releases at the same time. That's three.
I want to respond to Jeremy Rice here, where he says, "I love art museums, and yes, I can take a print home from them." So I love these watches, and I could go to AliExpress. Is what you're saying?
Oh, well, we do not promote copies. Okay, so I can't. If anybody,
there it is, right there.
Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, good, well spotted.
Oh, nice.
So this is it. So moon phase perpetual calendar. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's a $300,000 piece right there, or over $300,000 piece.
No wonder the moon's giving you the side eye on it.
Yeah,
like, you paid this much?
Yeah.
It looks.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, my bad. That's not the $300,000 piece. The one right there on the left, when you in the 4 spot right there.
This one.
No, on the top left.
Oh, this one
right there. Yeah, that's like a dual tourbillon. I think that's the $300,000.
Wowzers. So they're branching out to be more, or they're having more dress watches in their collection, or well, I don't know.
I don't know. I think this is again just kind of a flex. They do have some dress pieces that obviously they're known for more of their, the 50 fathoms, and to a certain extent their chronographs, and but they do have dressy pieces. But I don't know if this is like a move per se, because I mean these pieces are just ridiculously priced, right? So this is not like for the common man who can afford only like a $15,000 to $20,000 or $25,000 Blancpain dress piece. This is way out there.
Yeah, awesome. So
I would agree with Watch Addict that the moon and on the face on the moon is extremely creepy.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's giving you the side eye, isn't it? It's like, oh, you've got more. Yeah, look at it. Yeah, it's giving you the old side eye there.
Nope.
So this is interesting from David Remus. Actually, he's saying that Periscope this week debunked Blancpain's claim that it was started in 1735. The correct date is 1815, so it's very old, but definitely not the oldest. Yeah, he's doing some good work, Periscope, isn't he? I like how detailed he is on Instagram. We got another super chat from James Blonde. Thank you so much. Proving Blancpain was founded in 1815. Even Favre Leuba, though, their founding year was 1739, not 37, which is what it says on the dial. Excellent. Thanks, James, for that. And thank you again for the very generous super chat. Very much appreciated.
So the funny face on the moon. This is not like a one-off. Like this, if you go, I've seen this in some of these older towns in like France or in other parts of Europe, when you have like these like old clocks, right? And some of them do have like a moon phase, and like this is where like some of them have some interesting faces, on them. So it doesn't come out of nowhere. I think there is some sense here, for it. And I think, I mean, I think that's something fun about it. Yes, it may be off-putting to some, but I kind of like the funny face.
Yeah, it's that old film. Is it one of the first ever? Not the first ever films, but that
Oh.
silent film, Rocket to the Moon. It had a
Yeah.
face on it, didn't it?
Yeah.
It does look like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Oh, Cadaver Films, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, let's thank you. I've gotten a lot of getting a lot of love tonight. Thank you, everyone. Very much appreciated. Let's go to the next one, which we'll talk about the Trident 3, the C60 Trident Lumiere, which I found out during my interview is not named after the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast. But
That's funny.
Hot take.
Hot take. But let's just add it to the stream here. Okay, so I'll give my opinion last, but what does in fact, Mark, maybe you go second to last. Todd and Bobby, who I guess haven't seen this, what was your feeling? I mean, seen it in the metal, I mean.
So I have said before, I'm an unabashed Christopher Ward fan. I have 3. I love that they've gone to a 300-meter dive watch. I love the 600 was awesome but ridiculous at the same time. So I prefer the thinness. I love the movement in this thing because it's the chronometer, and I mean, I thought this was a win. The only thing that makes me nervous, which we talked about before, is I would like to see the durability of those indices staying on the dial face and not knocking off and floating around in there. But that's my only reservation. I think it's a great looking watch.
Yeah. Bobby, what was your impression on this?
Yeah, I like it. I like some color variations more than others. I think I like the blue one over the orange one here. I do love the indices in the hands of the loom. It kind of reminds me of a Vertex that I used to have that I adored so much, and I stupidly sold because that's what I do. But probably not the biggest Christopher Ward fan in this panel. But yeah, I mean the watch is, I've owned a couple. The watch is nice. I like the release. I'm not gaga over it. But I like it. I like that I think it's titanium, right? I mean, they're using titanium here.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
I have to tell you though, it was a little off-putting. It has nothing to do with the watch itself, although it was related to the watch. There was a video put out by a YouTube content creator, and with a very interesting title. Is this the Tudor Pelagos killer? I'm just done with those kind of things. You know what I mean? I'm just done with those kind of.
Yeah, it isn't even trying to be a Tudor.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, right? I mean, like, if it's whatever they're offering, it's at a different price point, and it should be just it, right? It should be that's it. It doesn't have to be, give me a gimmicky kind of a title to lure me in. But it did, of course, and I watched it, and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, there was a lot funny about that review as well. I actually was messaging Christopher Ward, teasing them a little bit about how that review had gone. If anybody's not seen that, just search for the title. It's a YouTuber that I respect a lot, but it was a funny. He had a few funny takes on this. In fact, he didn't mention the loom at all on it. I mean, in any depth, I would say. But Mark, go on. You've seen this in person, I think. Yes, yeah.
I have seen this in person. I've only seen the orange one.
Yeah.
In person, the watch is very nice. It's slim. It's in proportion, except possibly the triangle at 12. I like what they've done with the shape of the hands. It's an interesting use of global light by Xenoprint. And it's it's a nice progression of the C60 300. The case is probably, if you can get over the loom, the case is amazing.
Yeah.
The finishing on the case, the shaping of the case, make it stand out. It's not a light catcher case. It's better than a light catcher case, and it's a shame it won't go much further. It's helped by the fact that it's titanium and is darker, which has always benefited the light catcher case. I'm a fan. I like it. I think I prefer their GMTs that they launched in July more than this. But, I'd consider buying the grey. I think I like orange watches, but I grew out of them 20 years ago. So I think I would go for the grey as the most subtle. I'm not sure I'm a customer for it, but if it wasn't for the GMT, I probably would be.
Yeah. So I'll give my opinion quick, but please, if anybody's not seen that interview that I did, check it out on the channel. I might switch up the thumbnail. It's not usually they do quite well, the Christopher Ward ones, but so I don't know whether it's my thumbnail that's off on it. But I interviewed Will, the lead designer of this. It's a succinct interview. It's not like when I interview Mike France and we go into every single detail over an hour. This is a real succinct, just all of the information you need within 15 minutes. But I'll give couple of thoughts on it quickly. One is to do with YouTube for some reason. Whenever I upload a Christopher Ward review, it's probably the most nitpicky about watches that the commenters seem to be, and I'm not sure what that is. And it's all every time Christopher Ward changed something, every time Christopher Ward releases a watch, there's things that people don't like about it. And then when they change those things, there's other people that, I actually like the way they used to do that. So it's like a really, I'm not sure what it is about Christopher Ward, the brand. Maybe they listen too much to their audience. I've never worked it out, but anyway, and I know the vast majority of people that watch it aren't like that. It's always funny to me, like how many comments it generates versus other brands that I review. But I'm a fan of this. Mark, you spot on. This light catcher case is completely different. It's much more refined, much more higher quality feeling, but it has a bit of weight to it. It doesn't feel light. The one that I had was a prototype. So the only thing that I noted was that the male end link slightly extended over the lugs, which they told me was going to be refined down. And the obviously they're using a Kosk movement in it, which actually is quite a triumph for this watch because the Luma Globalite is on the hands and even the second hand, which Will had said was quite difficult for them to get the balance right because there's obviously a lot of extra weight on it. He's saying that normal loom is practically weightless, but obviously Globalite, with it being a ceramic that they put on the hands, actually has something weight to it. I pointed out in the interview that I think I like the execution of it, but I think they could have gone too far with this and made it look cartoonish. I think they haven't done that, but I think the line was very...
Yeah, they walked that line very close, I think.
Yeah.
And to Watch Addict's point about the price, there's inflation, and the dial they claim is 4 times the cost of any other dial they've had because of the use of Globalite. So, many factors, currency exchange, inflation, but in terms of direct cost, it's the dial. Because they've textured it. They've got 17 pieces of Globalite on there, all of which have to be applied individually. You can't just print that stuff. Globalite on the hands. So yes, it is expensive, but Christopher Ward say it's our most expensive dial.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, if it is a 3 times model, it's only a $200 additional cost. And I can see where that cost came in and everything you just said, Mark. That $200 cost is not a lot.
And I bet you that case was expensive too.
Yeah, I've got the Elite 1000. So Watch Addict, I have this Elite 1000. In fact, I showed it in the review that I did. I showed there is a world of difference between the Elite 1000 is my favorite watch, like one of my favorite watches that I own. I wear it regularly, but it is really thick. The level of refinement on this Lumiere versus that Elite 1000, it's night and day. The finishing, the refinement of the case. I actually said and I won't grandstand about this too much, but I actually said in the interview that I don't think this is for Christopher Ward tool watch fans that would go for the Elite 1000. I think this is like a transitional piece between people that love the refinement. This is closer to a dive version of the 12 than it is to a more refined version of the Elite 1000, if that makes sense. It's more the applied crown guards, the level of finishing, it feels more like a 12 titanium dive. It's like a transitional piece, I think, for people that like the 12, but they want like something a little bit more dive watchy.
And the other thing to point out is that the SW300 is significantly more than even a top grade SW200.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So,
you can
no
see
date
from
on it either.
components that the price had to go up. You can quibble about value, but there's a lot in here that justifies the price with their model.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I'm unabashedly Christopher Ward fan, so this is there's definitely to take that into account. I do have a bias because I like what they're doing. But I have the Elite 1000. It has the date on it, so I'd never swap it for this.
Well, yeah, this doesn't have a date, so you're not going to buy this one. So.
Yeah,
exactly. I actually put that in the review. I actually put it in the review, but I cut it out because I'm like, I'm just going to seem like I'm being sassy about it.
And the fact that it has no date it makes it even more appealing to me. So
yeah. I'm date agnostic, so I can swing either way with that one.
All right.
Ambidextrous. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this kind of came out left field. I don't know much about it, but it was definitely something that came out of Geneva Watch Days, didn't it? This is the very expensive Navi timers, which are, I believe, they're perpetual calendar moon phases, aren't they? I have to admit I didn't look into this a whole lot, but they released 3 watches. Did anybody else?
Yeah, it was the Navitimer, the Chronomat, and the Daytora, Daytora chronographs. Yeah. B19 movements, rose gold. I don't know, man. I mean, at $59,000 US, if I was in the position, there's so many other watches that look, I love the Navitimer, right? The Navitimer is a classic. It's an icon. I've owned one. I have a Zin that looks like a Navitimer. I love the look. Don't get me wrong. I don't care for a moon phase on it, and I don't care for it to spend like 60 grand on one, even if it's it's precious metal. I like, out of the 3 of them, I like the Chronomat the most, and I think I'm positioning overall liking the Chronomat even more than the Navitimer now at this point. I just like that the new Chronomats, but yeah, I mean, I get it's an anniversary piece. They only made I think 125 of each of them, or whatever the anniversary is. I think that's what they made. But yeah, I don't know. I just shake my head with these kind of releases. I mean, like, it's not for me. It's definitely not meant for me. So I don't know who that's meant for, but
yeah.
I'm just going to jump in. Watch Addict nailed this one because I have felt the same thing. Why are they venturing into Invicta territory? Like that, it had that vibe to me as soon as I saw it. It's just not doing it.
Yeah, and I think it's because the matching dial rose gold color. I think the dial rose gold. I'm not really. I'm not sure.
It certainly looks like it, doesn't it? It certainly looks like it has that finish to it. In fact, they all kind of do.
Yeah, I think that's, especially with the Navitimer, it definitely looks a little what you call it, that watch you mentioned, Invicta-ish, yeah. I mean, this one's a little bit dressier, so it's okay. Yeah. I mean, I just, the Daytora is a little dressier that way, but man, I don't know. I think it comes down to, like, I don't really get no, I don't want to say that, because I do get some chronographs that are precious metal, but most I don't get. I don't know why.
Yeah. This one's got like a creepy face moon as well. Yeah.
Watch It's Brian just did a quote basically from Jurassic Park. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Agreed. Like if this was longer, okay. I mean, I think I could excuse that, right? But it's Breitling.
Yeah.
I'm not on Breitling, but I'm not knocking Breitling per se. It's just they're out of their lane.
No, I like this Chrono. I like this Chronomat. It's got that sort of 90s design to it, hasn't it? That still, I do actually like the Chronomat watches quite a bit, but yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice if I was thinking of putting down.
Not for 60 grand.
Yeah.
In what sense? I mean, like, I know Lago wouldn't make something this ugly. I'm just in regards to the precious metal chronograph. That's what I mean.
Yeah, although actually Memovox says if you wanted a perpetual, picking a reputable brand over an obscure micro brand might not be a bad idea.
Actually, I think if you wanted one of these, waiting 2 years and looking on Chrono 24 would be a good idea.
Yeah. I think that's correct. Actually, I bet you could get quite a deal on it. Yeah, James Blonde says nobody wants to put 60 grand down on their. Yeah, so actually, the watches with Dennis, you're bringing us on to our next one. I think they could include a Tissot with a Breitling color. The color then. Okay. So yes, let's get to that one. Let's get to that one next. And this is the actually, Bobby, do you want to introduce this one? Because I think you've looked into it a little bit, hadn't you?
Well, yeah, this is the H. Moser NC and Studio Underdog collaboration. I forget Passion Fruit or whatever collaboration. Yeah, so interesting. 100 pairs, right, are being sold. And I've formulated my take based on conversations I had over the last couple of days, or listening to conversations that some of my watch friends who are collectors have been saying, and a lot of them do collect Moser, and so like the question is like, who is this really for, right? And so the Moser collector, from what I'm hearing, is upset in two reasons why they're upset. They're upset that you have a perpetual calendar watch here that is basically $60,000, right? I mean, like, you have to look at it, or I look at it as you're buying this Moser and getting a Studio Underdog for free, right? So you're paying 60 grand for a perpetual calendar that is limited, yes, but those who own precious metal calendars, right, perpetual calendars, the price point on those are less than this, right? So what as a owner of one of these watches, you're thinking to yourself, what is Moser doing here, right? They're kind of like, in a sense, devaluing my precious metal perpetual calendar, right? And then of course, then the second, I would say 1B of their complaints. The 1A was the precious metal thing. 1B is that, what are you doing collaborating with Studio Underdog? They feel like it's not worthy of Moser to do so, and that's their opinion. That's not necessarily mine. That's their opinion. And then, of course, you read all the Instagram comments when this watch was released, and all the Studio Underdog fans are upset because, well, they can't get this watch, right? They had to spend 60 grand to get this watch. And not to say, and the Studio Underdog, I'm sorry, collector or fan is somebody who appreciates design, but also appreciates affordability, right? And so, and I'm just making a generalization. There's obviously maybe some that are high-end collectors as well. They just like Underdog, whatever. But they can't have access to this watch. And so definitely probably more divisive than Milan Ed Milan thought it was going to be. And the theories out there is that he was probably drunk with the guy from Ibiza, the guy from Underdog in Ibiza. Yeah, and then they were like, "Yeah, let's do a collab. Yeah, why not?" Having their little drinks and whatnot. That's the theory behind it.
Yeah, I'm not the customer for this, so I can probably I'm being not mad, but not mad from a point of I've never owned a Moser. I'm not really a Moser. I'm not really a Moser buyer. I mean, Rich is such a nice guy that it is nice that he's actually moved up a level with the that he's moved into doing collabs with this. So I'm happy for Rich. I think it says a lot about Studio Underdog. I guess I'm not enough of a Moser fan to comment on what it says about Moser, but I'll throw it to the panel. I mean, what Todd, Mark, what do you think?
Well, I'll agree with you on your statement. I think I love what it says about Studio Underdog, but I like if you go back to that perpetual calendar, Moser, their specialty is minimalism, and I totally get that, and there are people who love that. How is that a perpetual calendar? I'm not seeing it. What am I missing?
Okay, so so right there's a little nub right in between the hour hand and the minute hand, right there, and that
Okay.
points to 12, which would be December.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then of course you have the date at the 12.
Yep.
Is that
And so-
right? Is that how that
And
works,
where's-
Bobby?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's
And where's-
that's December the 12th.
And I think the year or the indication of leap year 1, 2, 3, and 4 is in the back, the case back. I believe that's how it works.
And where are the months?
No,
Well, the
that's
months is
not-
12. So the little nub points to
months.
the 12 o'clock. That's months.
All right. Day
goes
and then
to-
the leap year.
And
I
then
was gonna
this is
say,
seconds, and then this is a
Power reserve.
Okay.
So we're back to Favre Leuba with the undersized pointers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
Yeah,
why I smiled a little. I smiled a little bit when we saw that watch earlier. I'm like, oh, I'll wait till you see the Moser.
Yeah. I just don't love it. If I want a perpetual calendar, I kind of want all the bells and whistles, and this is like a perpetual calendar that's a mystery I have to solve.
Yeah, let's see what the
I want to know what Mark thinks.
Yeah, Mark, what do you think? Yeah.
I like any micro brand, I am sure that Studio Underdog has some serious multi-millionaire collectors. This is for them.
Yeah. Okay.
It's, Moser are known or used to be known for having a sense of humor. They did the cheese watch, they did the Apple watch.
Yeah.
So this fits entirely with some of their reputation for having that sense of humor. It's I don't object to it. I'm not in the market for it, but I don't see anything wrong with it. The serious Studio Underdog collector now has a Moser.
Yeah.
To go along with the FP Journe and so on. I think it's harmless. Even if I had 60 grand, would I buy it? No. But I don't own a Studio Underdog or a Moser either. So it's more of a joke, and it's a shame people have taken it seriously and got offended by it. It's harmless.
Yeah, I suppose
it's fun. It's harmless. It's just a shame people got upset with it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's.
I'm with Von Cruel here. And that's the thing. I have a Citizen a perpetual calendar, and I love it. It's easy to read, and that's one of my favorite run and go watches. And when I look at that Moser, I'm just like, I can't understand
it. We've got to do this one. This is the Mad One raffle watch. There's actually going to be two versions, is there? Well, we were chatting about this in the group chat, but I didn't really understand what the idea of it is. It that they're releasing this watch for people that hadn't won the raffle before, and then there's another watch that if you are a repeat customer you can get access to? I didn't really understand the thing with it.
Yeah,
that was what I understood.
Yeah.
That this was another one because people were upset that they weren't able to get one of the originals.
Well, this is slightly upgraded, is it? This has got a different Swiss movement in it instead of were they Miotas or something before?
Miota.
It's Miota now. It's Le Jus Perret, right? Both citizen movements, right? Citizen owned, right?
And then there was some discussion about it actually doesn't have minutes on it anymore. It's just got the hours, and then the minutes are determined about the delta between the hour ring. Yeah, there. So that would be I guess 10, 15.
The upgrade in the movement also allowed it. I think allowed it to be a thinner watch as well compared to the other leases.
It does look thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does anybody have a strong opinion on this? It sounds. I hadn't really looked a lot into it.
I've only ever seen one Mad One, in real life. Hey, if you like it, you like it.
Mm.
It's, for me, I don't want to learn to tell the time again. And the fiddle spinner on top is way over the top. So I have to say, I just don't care. If you really want one, great. It doesn't do anything for me at all.
Yeah.
Same here.
I think they're cool, but you know, if for the poor man, you get the Xeric watches, and they have all kinds of funky things, the ways to tell time like this for, you know, hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars.
Yeah, actually, what Shadik mentioned, the Atawak. I've reviewed quite a few of the Atawak watches.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, they use Miota, and they do wandering hours and all sorts of stuff.
There's two.
Okay,
There's two people. Just to finish up, there's two people who are going to be interested in getting this watch. Somebody who's actually interested in the watch, and the other one is a person who, if they get it quickly enough, will flip it and buy something else.
Yes. Yeah, I know Ricky at Scottish Watches has the Mad One red, doesn't he? And then I know Thomas has got the Lucky Green, the Green Clover or something one, and they both obviously love it. Okay, so I thought that would be a little bit more lively, but to be honest, I didn't have a strong opinion on it either. Let's go to this one, which was the Oris with Ronnie Wood. Was it? No. Ronnie Wood got his Sharpies out again. No, this was the Diver 65 38mm with the sort of the I guess it's a collab one as well. I don't know.
I can't look. It's hard to knock a collab, especially when the money's supposedly going to a good place. But I'm just not feeling the Oris collabs lately, and I know the font is the font that's being used is part of the collaboration, but it's just not for me. I'll just say that this is just not for me.
Yeah, you know, the way that Hodinkee have been dumping Oris watches at massive, I'd say discounts that we've not seen since pre-pandemic is making me pause about Oris for a bit for some reason. I actually like one of the Hodinkee ones, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else have sorry, guys. I didn't really have an opinion on this one either.
I've had no opinions on Oris watches ever. I've never clicked with the brand. It's just me personally. I know people love them. I see them and I'm like, whatever. I'm not excited.
They did have a new version of the Aquis Chrono, also in a blue dial that looked very, very good. I'm not a big fan of Chrono divers, and it's a big watch, but aesthetically, I thought it was actually a pretty good looking piece.
I agree with Bobby on that one. I saw the diver and thinking that was quite nice.
Yeah, it's a big piece. It's definitely big. It's not going to fit a lot of people.
What size? What actual size is it?
I think it's close to a 44.
Okay,
yeah, you're right. 44,
crazy.
And it's 17 thick.
Ooh, okay, now that's thick.
Okay, so that's up there with an Omega C Master chronograph.
Yeah.
At 17 mil thick, and I mean the Omegas are 44 and a quarter. So yeah, that's a big watch. But it's quite nice.
It is nice. It is nice. I mean, 4400 is pretty steep for a non-in-house movement. But I think out of what I've seen from Oris in a long time, this is one that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Oris. I've still got my original Oris Aquis that was my modern gateway to proper watches. I don't know that they've done, with all the refinements they've made to the Aquis over the years, I don't know they've actually improved it very much. But, as chronographs go, I'm not frightened of the size, and I kind of like that one.
Yeah. So Watch Addict says that the Oris are going for crazy prices in the UK also. I'll just show you what I'm talking about, because this this Hodinky. This is I actually bought this online ceramic, which I'll upload a review of. But they've been selling these off. Yeah, look, 2,900 down to 1,740 on the Oris. This is a beautiful looking one. This was 2,700, and they're selling it 40% off. These are new watches. These aren't pre-owned. So that's what's making me feel a little bit funny about the new price. Look at that. That's 2,900 down to 1,740. Back in stock soon. So they've obviously sold a few of these out, but the prices have been going up and down on these. I don't know. It just makes me feel weird. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but cool. Okay, then. Well, let's we're at our hour. Let's see if there's any let's just see if there's any other comments coming through. I think we've got hold of everything. Awesome. Cool. Well, guys, thank you. A big thanks to the panel. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you everyone in the comments. Thank you for the very generous super chats and the new memberships. And we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. Bye, guys.
And up vote.
Bye.
Take care.